So what we're going to teach you are the basic types of entities that most investors use. This isn't just about real estate investing. These kinds of entities can hold any kind of business. So if you are interested in a home business or you have one and you are not protected enough, you can put anything that you own into these different entities. But primarily we're going to talk about real estate holdings tonight. A sole proprietorship is the very simplest, easiest form of a legal entity, but there are very few advantages. An LLC is a hybrid between a partnership and a corporation. It's one of the newer kinds of entities, and it is wonderful. I'll just say that as a blanket word. It's wonderful as far as it provides a lot of protection, very inexpensive to set up, and you get to be a little bit more lax on the paperwork and the rules as compared to, say, a C Corp. So limited partnership is also another one that's very popular in real estate investing. It involves 2 or more people or entities. Taxes and liability will pass down to the partners according to their percentages of interest in the company. And so the company itself doesn't hold all of that money. It's called a pass-through entity. An LLC is the same way. And these are 3 of the very easiest things that you could do to get started in business. Now, one little tip on the side, if you set up as a sole proprietor, you can actually file that schedule on your personal tax return. You don't have to have a separate business tax return like you will with the others. But it also gives you one layer of protection, where if you have other things in place, you should have at least 2 layers of protection. Even an LLC, a very basic single member LLC, is still going to give you an additional layer of protection in your holdings inside of that, as long as you don't commingle funds or do something that's going to break the barrier, because there are things that will break that shield of protection between you and the assets and any liability within there. But for the most part, even with the 2 layers of protection, you should be good. And then depending on what your real estate attorney advises you to do, you may want to switch into an S Corp or a C Corp at some point when your liabilities and your holdings become greater.